Hello and welcome to the Do Not Disturb Football Podcast. I'm your host, Drew Pelcher. That is Nimmer with me. We are once again without Darian. He is still on that father duty. We have a good show for you today. It does feel a little different not talking about fantasy, though. I will say
Mhm.
it's like a whole different feel to this show. Um, Breaking news: Chuck Pagano was hired by the Ravens today as the senior secondary coach. So he'll be helping out the defensive side on the secondary, so like the defensive backs and things like that. I thought that was a pretty cool hire.
I love Chuck.
Yeah,
Such
yeah,
a good
he's a funny guy,
yeah.
and you would think he got that job just because of all the film he does with Pat McAfee and
Hmm.
on that show, which is
Yeah.
cool.
That's two times that the Ravens sniped somebody from the Pat McAfee show. They got Van
Oh,
Noy from the Pat McAfee show. When he was
oh,
a
okay.
free agent, they're like, blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden the Ravens like put him on the practice squad. Ended
Mm.
up being like a star player. It's kind of crazy.
He's solid. I feel like
Oh
Van
my
Noy's been
god,
a solid
that
player.
completely changed the team.
Yeah. But how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Today was a pretty good day. Able to hit the gym. Um, First time in probably over a year, so it's kind of just getting the rust off and remembering, the forms and whatnot. But it was fun. My body's gonna be so sore tomorrow. It's a good sore.
Yeah, I've been pretty consistent with it myself. It sucks because I used to be so consistent. And now I'm just not.
Hmm.
But maybe someday, maybe I'll get back into it. I got to do something. I got to get into either running a lot or lifting a lot. I'm not sure which one it'll be.
Yeah, I running is just so hard, honestly, for me. Just to like, even when like with dogs and stuff like that, it helps a little bit, but it's just like I don't know. I just like I guess lifting. That's
Yeah.
my go-to exercise.
Well, they say that's the best. That's the best way to do it. So, um, the Uh, why don't we start with the Rage Cage? Did you want to talk about the Pro Bowl?
Yeah, I think we should just talk about like, especially yesterday, we kind of clowned on them because we're like, how the hell is Russell Wilson it? And then I guess like they asked seven quarterbacks before Russ. Just
Yeah.
like, well, I wanted to kind of pick your brain about like, what do you think that they should do to change the Pro Bowl? Like,
I mean, I don't even know. Like, it's unfixable. Like to me, I think you just don't do the game.
hmm
I think you just do similar to like the skill games and make like a weekend out of it. Maybe like I honestly think it would be more entertaining if you had the skill games. You had like a Madden tournament where you watch the players go off against each other, um, and make it uncensored. By the way,
yeah, that's
and
big. That's key.
yeah, and like I don't know, you just have to do like gimmicky stuff because that's really all the Pro Bowl is now. So like, why not make it as gimmicky as possible and have like just pure fun things than rather than this dodgeball game and flag football? Like it's not watchable anymore.
Yeah, I think there just needs to be a bigger reward for the players to actually go to the Pro Bowl. Before it was like before the players would go because it was like a free trip to Hawaii, right? So they're
Yeah.
like, why would I not bring my family and friends to Hawaii for pretty much for free? Uh, so that was kind of the reward. But now that it's in like where it's in Florida, right?
Yeah, I'm not even sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's in like Florida. I know it's somewhere like that. And it's like, I mean, it's we go to Florida once or twice a year. Like there's no
I
reward
think
aspect. So
I
we could
think also what you could do. Sorry, go
no, go
ahead.
ahead, go ahead. What else?
I think also what you could do, kind of banking on what you just said. I think you make it a traveling game, so they go somewhere else every year, outside the country to Hawaii, things like that, and you put like a huge pot into the game so the winning team wins like a huge amount of money where everyone's making like at least $1.5 million if they win.
Yeah, yeah, and honestly, that would solve two problems. That would solve, I mean, two things. That could solve the Pro Bowl being international instead of all these international games and them having crap games. Like, why would people not want to go to it? In number one, an international game, and number two, seeing all the biggest stars, the football stars. You know what I mean? And and I think that the the reward could either be money, if they're not generating a lot of money because nobody's going to the Pro Bowl, then another thing is I think the MLB does this is that the uh the winner of the Pro Bowl, that conference is home for the Super Bowl. So or
Yeah,
gets to call the coin toss. Or you know
yeah,
what I
they do
mean, or
that.
like that sort of thing,
Yeah,
because like that means Josh Allen will probably want to play next year and actually try to go. Lamar Jackson will want to go because they're going to think that they're going to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like they'll give more attraction for these players to actually go. Instead of like before, it was, I want to say it was Sean Taylor was, or Jerry Rice. I think it was Jerry Rice who got like almost ending injury because of the Pro Bowl, and then after that, they're like, all right, no, I'm not playing in the Pro Bowl anymore, and then it just started
yeah.
going downhill. Like I don't know, something needs to
It
change though because it's gonna be like the All Star game.
it just sucks because like pretty much across all sports now that kind of game, the Pro Bowl, the All Star game, um, those like these guys, they know like this isn't really for anything. It's just kind of for fun. So like people don't really try, and it just turns into like unwatchable TV.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know anybody. I don't think I've met one person that actually watches Pro Bowl. Comment in the comments if you actually watch the Pro Bowl, because like seeing fans there would be is insane. I'm like, who would actually pay money and go to the Pro Bowl? I
Yeah.
probably wouldn't, unless they just give them out for free or something. But yeah,
I think you would probably get fans there if you did like an international thing where you're traveling to different countries. I think people would probably show up for that.
100%, 100%.
And they have the money to put up like an expensive trip to somewhere and put a huge pot in to the game. They have the money to do that already.
Yeah,
They could
exactly.
just take like a sliver of what they make from TV, like all the TV ratings and views in the regular season, and they could put like a $45 million pot on the line for the game.
Yeah, no, 100%. So they need to do something because I don't know how many more years it's going to be. Hopefully, this was more of an eye opener for the NFL, for Roger Goodell, and th- them just being like, all right, well, enough is enough type of thing, where, all right, we need to actually do something and actually make the Pro Bowl worthwhile for these players, or else nobody's going to want to come. And then all of a sudden, we're
Yeah,
going to have Russell Wilson in the freaking Pro Bowl instead of any other big name quarterback. It's yeah, it's crazy.
maybe what you also do if you continue with this flag football, which sucks, you eventually turn it into like the Olympic team versus the Pro Bowls.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
And to me, like I also think they should do something about like the title of the Pro Bowl because like Russell Wilson shouldn't be considered a Pro Bowler
Mm-mm.
this year. If you go to 7 quarterbacks before him, like he shouldn't be considered a Pro Bowler this year,
Yeah,
in my opinion.
no, 100%. And then that's what people, 7-time Pro Bowler, 8-time Pro
Yeah,
Bowler, and it's just like, and that doesn't mean. I mean, that's just like that means that you, like you couldn't win anything besides going to the Pro Bowl. Like
right.
it's insane. Yeah, but
But
even
why
like
don't
a
we get in
tournament, I feel like that would be kind of cool too, right?
like a like football tournament or
Yeah, like have
yeah,
two AFC teams, two NFC teams, and have them just go like battle it out, and then the winner of that team goes.
right.
Or
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many you can do, so much that you can do. Even having like one event, even being like instead of skill guys, it would be like linemen doing flag football. Like
Hmm.
you'll have a quarterback, but instead of receivers, it'd be like D line.
Yeah.
Like that would be fun. It'd be much more
Hmm.
entertaining to watch than what we're watching now.
Yeah. They would have a lot more fun with it.
Exactly.
Yeah. But why don't we get into Rage Cage?
All right.
There's that beautiful graphic. What are you pissed off today about?
um, I feel like we kind of just touched up on it. It just pisses me off that like I feel like that honestly, it's not even just the NFL though. It's all these all-star sports. Like it used to mean something. It used to be so much. It's used to be so much fun because you in throughout the season you don't really see two stars going at it, right? You're not gonna see Lamar Jackson going against uh Jared Goff unless it's in the Super Bowl, right? Or I guess in the regular season sometimes. But like or even in the NBA, like you barely ever saw Mike against Kobe or Kobe against LeBron or you know what I mean? Like you never
Hmm.
saw those type of matchups. The only time you would really see them is in the All Star game. And then they kind of had fun with it because they'd do like one on ones, like everybody would clear out, like you could still have fun with it, but just the way that the All Star games all across the board has been, it is very infuriating. Um, so that it just needs to change in all aspects. I mean, even the NBA, even though nobody watches it, like the All Star game where they're having like it's like a pickup game of 4-on-4, and it's like a tournament, I think, or something like that. I didn't really understand what it was like, but like it was just too much. It's like just play basketball, make it a pickup game, like put some money up. Like the NFL and NBA are making so much money. Just put some money up, stop being cheap, and make it worthwhile actually to play.
Yeah, I feel like you have to make it so that the player actually wants to win the money at the end of the
Hmm.
game. Because like this is just not working. This is like especially in the NBA. The NBA used to be really exciting All Star games in the early 2000s,
Hmm.
and it's just not like that anymore. The
Yeah,
NBA just sucks in general now.
I agree. Everybody's just trying to shoot a 3 pointer, and
Yeah,
it's like it's more of a 3 point competition than actually a game until playoffs. Playoffs, I feel like playoff basketball is a lot more entertaining. It's like a
it's a little
huge drop
better.
off, but
It's a little
yeah.
better in the playoffs, but I don't know. I feel like the NBA peaked with LeBron versus the Warriors in the
Hmm.
finals, and ever since then, it just hasn't really been the same. Like
I
everyone
agree.
tries to copy Golden State, and it's just kind
Everybody's
of
trying to
boring
be
to
the
watch.
next Steph. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
but even the teams are just trying to be like Golden State, and it's like not every team is supposed to be like Golden State.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have centers that like can barely shoot a free throw. Like, how is he going to shoot a 3 point shot?
Yeah, and they shoot them too. That's what's crazy. It's like their form is like this, and then they
Yeah.
really just still try to shoot it, and sometimes they even make it, and you're like, it's wild.
But so you went with a sports rage cage today. I'm gonna go a little off trail here. I'm gonna go with the TikTok algorithm.
Mm,
Man, whatever happened, I don't know what happened, but Trump got involved. TikTok gave this message saying, "Thank you, President Trump. We really appreciate all your efforts." Blah blah blah. And then overnight, that algorithm went to shit. My algorithm is full of politics now. I don't want that on my for you page. I don't want to. I don't want to listen to that. None of it's true. Like half of it's like one way, half of it's the other way, and it's like none of it's true. So like, why is this on my for you page? I want to see. the stuff I used to see, like funny stuff, people getting injured. I love that shit. uh, I did. I had one video pop up yesterday of a bull rider. Oh my god!
Oh.
And he got like bucked off the bull, and the bull like trampled all over him, and he snapped his femur in half, and his like his his toes were like touching the top of his hip.
Oh.
It was a crazy video, but
That
that's
is
the kind of
what.
stuff I like to see. Even if it's just like a funny fall, like something like so like innocent, like where it's just
Hmm.
like someone fell funny, like that is what I love to see on my TikTok page. I don't like what I have on my TikTok page now. Like I've even like contemplated, do I just delete TikTok? And I'm like, man, like I just I I feel like something happened. They did something to the algorithm. They sold it to someone. I feel like it was Microsoft or something like that.
Hmm.
And it just seems so Americanized now, and like
Yeah.
it's just ruined. Like they just ruined the algorithm.
Imagine. I think. What if Facebook bought it? Have you seen that
Or
trend where
or
they're
that.
like blocking Facebook and Instagram because they all of a sudden randomly have a TikTok?
Yeah. It could, yeah, it could definitely be meta. And if it's
Hmm.
meta, like that sucks because I got off of Facebook for a reason.
Yeah, bring back MySpace, man.
Yeah,
Honestly. Yeah. All right. So, um, can I go through a real life rage cage too?
sure.
And this is for the audience. If you are in your job, and let's say everybody's having a bad day, okay, so I completely understand that. But if you're in a tedious, I should say, tedious job, right? Like a gym employee or a subway worker, no matter how your life is, you still should have a smile on your face. Everything should be left at the door, and you should at least have. You don't even have to be like all chippy and all this other, but just don't be rude. Like today, I went to Subway, and this dude. First of all, I get there and I was like, "Oh, what kind of bread do you guys have?" And then he like told me the bread, and then all of a sudden he didn't even say anything. He just went to the topping section, and I was like, I'm just literally standing there, and I'm like, okay, what the fuck am I supposed to be doing now? And then all of a sudden, some guy in the back comes back, has an earpiece in, right? And so he's like, what do you want?" And I was like, can I get two sandwiches, one with whole grain, uh, one with whole grain bread and another one with garlic, herbs, and cheese. And then he was like, started speaking a different language. I'm not gonna say what what language he was, but it was definitely, it's a very stereotypical subway worker, I should say. Okay. Um. So he was speaking a different language, and then he like asked me like another time, and I'm like, this is, I literally just said it 2 seconds. You can't just be like, hey, let me get this order real quick, and let me call you back. Like then all of a sudden I said it again. He's he's uh he's getting it, and then he's speaking while ordering foot long or 6 inch. I was like, oh, foot long. Blah 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 blah. What kind of sandwich? And I was
Oh my god.
like what? My anxiety is like, are you talking to me or are you talking to the person on your phone? Like, get off your phone. What the hell are you doing? It was, and then he was just rude the whole entire time. No smile, no like anything. Just, what do you want? Anything else? Okay. And then he checked me out, and then he was just like, uh, I gave him cash, so I gave him, it was $20. He didn't even tell me the total, so I was like, I fucking hope it's under $20. It was ended up $22. I was like, what the hell? So I gave him 20. I was like, it's 22, and I was like, oh, so I gave him a 5. He's like, you don't have $2. I was like, Bitch, you work at fucking Subway. Fuck you out of here. I was like, what the hell, you fucking degrading me because I don't have that two. He's like a $2. Like, who carries cash anymore? I was,
Said you don't
bro.
have $2 on you.
And then he ended up giving me three because he didn't have change. But it wasn't even
Oh
like
my
that
gosh,
whole
that's crazy.
situation. Yeah, that whole situation. Be like, oh damn, I don't have any change. Do you happen to have a $1 or $2 bill? Instead of like, do you have $2? I was like, what the fuck? What do you mean? Oh my god. And then at the gym, I signed up to the gym on Monday, and I got there, and I like wanted to schedule a tour so I know like the rules and regulations and what everything was. So I get there like it was like at 8 o'clock in the morning. I
Which
slept in.
what gym is this?
Huh?
What gym is this?
City Sports.
Oh, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, it's more of like a Bay Area thing. Um,
Okay.
and so I signed up. I signed up for the tour. I ended up being like 5-10 minutes late, and so I was like, "I'm so sorry, I'm late. Can I still have the tour?" Like, I didn't know how their late policy was or whatever. He's like, "Oh yeah, I think they're on a tour right now, but they'll be right with you." I was like, "You can sit down and whatever, hang out." So I was like, "All right." So I sit down. I get there at 8:10. At 8:40, I was like, all right, this is ridiculous. I've been sitting here for 30 minutes. Nobody's came up to me. Nobody's apologized. Nothing. Literally just been on my phone struggling with my algorithm, trying to like fix it again throughout the 30 minutes. And I was like, all right, I got a meeting at 9, so I need to leave. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, I was actually very annoyed. Then I was like, this guy comes, and so while I was waiting, I actually went to go like take a lap just to like look whatever. And then I saw a dude walking with a girl that had like a city sports type of shirt on. So I was like, I assumed that he was the tour person. He was literally at the desk just sitting there. Like the front desk,
Oh.
just sitting there, just waiting. I was like, "Oh, are you the tour person?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm the salesman." And I was like, you didn't just fucking see me sitting here? What the hell are you doing? Just like you're sitting while I'm waiting? Like what the hell? So I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, do you think I can talk to you about like getting a membership or something? Like I already got a tour. I mean, I already toured myself, so do you think I can, figure that out?" And he was like, "Yeah, just come with me." And so then he was like, "All right." So then he brings me to his desk, and then he's like literally sitting like this. And he's like, "All right." And I didn't say anything because I wanted to see like, and you could tell like he was just like grumpy. I don't know. I don't know what it was. I didn't know. At first, I didn't know if it was early or what. But then he was just grumpy. He was just sitting there, right? And then he was just grumpy the whole time. And I was just like, I didn't even want to sign up to the gym, but that's like the closest gym to me right now. So it was bad. Long story short, I'm just
That's the
tired of
worst.
people.
That's the worst. Like just bad customer service.
It's crazy. It's not hard. Just it's not even like you have to be like a Dutch Bros customer service where you're like,
No,
you know,
definitely don't do that.
definitely don't do that. But even just having like a smile on your face or just like talking like how we're talking, like not just
Just
like
like
yeah,
be present. Just be present.
exactly.
Like don't be like distracted. Don't like act. Don't make it known that like you hate being here and like
Mhm.
that's like the worst.
Yeah.
I feel like that is slowly becoming like a normal thing.
Yeah. And I'm in California, so everything here is crazy expensive. So it's like I get it, you're struggling, but I mean, I should know. I shouldn't have to know that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to Chipotle a couple weeks ago here. And you know how you get to the front of the line? First of all, the line was insanely long, like so long. But it was like past the door.
Wow.
It was so long. And you know how you get to the front of the line and they say, "Would you like a burrito or a bowl?" They
Hmm.
didn't say a word to me. They
Hmm.
just looked at me. I'm like, "I'll take a bowl, please." And they're like, "Okay." So they like don't say anything the whole time, like no beans or rice or any of that. I'm just saying it.
Oh
And
my
then
god.
and then they give it to me and it's ice cold. It's like an iceberg. It's so cold. And I'm like, what the hell is the line so long for? This is terrible. Like the
Oh
food
my
is
god.
ice cold. I was so mad.
Damn. That's the
I
worst.
I, I haven't been back to that Chipotle since.
Yeah, fuck.
And for anybody in Pittsburgh, it's the Chipotle on McKnight. But let's start today with a juicy topic, the goat debate. So this has kind
Mm,
of been something going on. It's been debated more and more. I feel like this week has been the antithesis of it. There is a lot of people starting to say that Mahomes, if he wins this Super Bowl, he is the undoubtable greatest of all time. He's already passed Tom Brady if he wins this Super Bowl.
mm.
So I want to get your take. What do you think? Who's the goat even if Mahomes were to win the Super Bowl?
I mean, okay. So I had an unpopular opinion, right? When Tom Brady was in New England and won all those Super Bowls, I still didn't consider him a GOAT because I thought it was Belichick. When he won in Tampa Bay, that's when I was like, all right, he's a GOAT. So it's kind of the same thing. Patrick Mahomes, it's more Andy Reid than Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes has been playing like shit this year. And then you're still going to give him the Super Bowl MVP, even though he played like shit. Last year in the Super Bowl, he played like shit. Jalen Hurts completely outplayed him, quarterback stat wise, play wise, everything like that. Patrick Mahomes got carried that game by the refs and the defense. And then you're going to
That was
consider him the
two
GOAT?
2 years ago.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Sorry, 2 years ago. Sorry.
Yeah.
And you're going to consider him a GOAT? Let's try to take Andy Reid out of the situation. You really think he's going to be the same type of player? Let's take the defense away. If Spags is no longer with the Chiefs next year, do you think that team's going to be the same? Patrick Mahomes is definitely not the GOAT, 100%. I think that he's. I mean, I think I wouldn't even consider him the best quarterback in the league. Honestly, I would take Josh and Lamar over Patrick Mahomes this year at least. Maybe overall, I feel like yeah, Patrick Mahomes is the best uh, in the sport right now, within the last 5 years. But I don't know. I feel like Tom Brady played against Ray Lewis, Peyton Manning, Troy Polamalu, like all of these just goats. But Ed Reed, like all of these goats. And then who has Patrick Mahomes really played against on defense? There really hasn't been that many that good of a defensive core um, when Patrick Mahomes was playing. When Tom Brady was playing, you had so many good defenses, and most of them were in the AFC that he had to go through to go to the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes doesn't really have to do that. I don't know. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Um, First of all, I think this is a conversation that's way too early to be having. But I think if you really want to break it down, Tom Brady is the GOAT still in every way, shape, or form. Um, the quarterbacks, he won two Super Bowls. Peyton Manning, he won two Super Bowls. Breeze, he won a Super Bowl. And I would throw Favre in there, even though he's not my favorite quarterback, but he was in that same time frame. He won a Super Bowl. Brady beat all those guys, every single one. You look at the guys that Patrick Mahomes is going up against. You have Joe Burrow, no Super Bowl, just an appearance. You have Lamar Jackson, no Super Bowl appearance. Josh Allen, Super Bowl appearance. And then some of the other guys that are probably on the rise, Justin Herbert, I don't think he's in that caliber, but some people probably do. Jaden Daniels, it's pretty early to say, but I think he's going to be one of the greats eventually. And CJ Stroud, who I think is also a really good quarterback. But you think about those names: Burrow, Lamar, Josh Allen. I don't know if I'm missing one, but I don't think those guys stack up against Roethlisberger, Peyton, Breeze, Favre. I don't think they have the same impact on the game. I think even after 10 years from now, I still think maybe Burrow, that's the only one that I could see have that kind of impact on the game. Maybe Burrow, maybe Jaden Daniels,
Allen.
maybe, maybe, maybe. But I don't think they any of those guys have the same impact Roethlisberger, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Brett Favre had.
Yeah, no.
Um,
Before we, I'm sorry, before we, before you go on, would you consider Ben Roethlisberger a top 10 quarterback of all time?
top 10. I'd have to I'd have to think about my top 10. I can write it down. Let's see. So we'll go Brady 1. We'll go I think it's still too early to put him here, but I'll just put Mahomes there at 2 just for sake of argument.
Mm-hmm.
3, I'll say Peyton. 4, I'll say Montana. 5, this is where it gets really hard
Mm-hmm.
because there's so many guys that like are so close to each other here.
Yeah.
Oh man, do I put Ben at 5? I don't know. Let me go backwards now. So 10. Who would I put like just on the border? Maybe I don't love it, but maybe Aaron Rodgers.
Mm. You think you'd put him before Favre?
I don't. Favre really wasn't my favorite quarterback. I
Yeah,
think he's
I
kind of
just like
overrated.
I did, dude. He was a gunslinger, so like when he would throw it, if it hits, it was amazing, but if it didn't, it was bad.
Yeah, he he had one of the most like turnovers ever,
Yeah.
like by a quarterback, and he took some of the most sacks. I
Hmm.
mean, that kind of has to do with playing as long as he did, but he would. I mean, you watch Favre; he was exciting for sure. He was an exciting quarterback to watch, but he made a lot of mistakes, especially in big moments.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
So I got Rodgers 10. Let's go 9. We'll go. Gosh, it's so hard.
Hmm.
I think Roethlisberger's probably at like 8.
8?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Marino before him.
Okay.
I'm gonna go. No, I'll put Roethlisberger at 7.
Okay. I would put him 6 or 7.
Yeah, I think he's good at the 7 spot. 6, 8, and 9. I'd really have to think about that
Hmm.
because you have like so many guys: John Elway, Johnny Unitas,
Mm,
which I don't think Unitas was amazing, but
yeah.
like there's a lot of guys that you can throw in the middle there.
Yeah.
I would say he's top 10. Yeah,
Okay. Because I saw on the internet that people wouldn't put it in the top 10.
I
I
would
was
put him
like,
in the top 10.
what? Who else would you? I personally think that he might be even better than John Elway. And I know you're a Bronco fan, so you're not gonna
I
agree
agree
with
with that.
that. Oh, okay.
I agree with that. John Elway, you look at his stats too. Like he had a lot of turnovers. You look at
Hmm.
his playoff stats, like he didn't have the best playoff games really.
Yeah.
He had he had two good Super Bowls, but outside of that, and like I feel like those stats during that time were like, I mean, the defenses were a lot better, a lot more rough and tough. But like it's hard because these eras, like you see the guys like Mahomes and Burrow today, they're putting up insane monster numbers, but like the defenses aren't as good. So
Hmm.
it's like it's such a tug and pull.
Yeah. That's why I think the best era of football was like 2000 to 2000, like 10, 2012 maybe. That was like the best era of football
It was really good.
because
That
the
was a good time.
offenses were still good. It wasn't like they're just boring games or it was just a defensive battle. Like,
I
yeah.
think about that all the time. I feel like that 2010 era, that was such, like we didn't give that era enough granted,
Yeah.
like enough credit. Like even the music during the 2010 era
Bro, I
was just
still listen
fire.
to that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That's the only music I listen to, honestly.
yeah. I mean, that's like the best music to play at a wedding. That's like
Mhm.
it's that was such a great time, 2010 era, that like 2005 to like 2016 all the way up to that, I would say. That
Mhm.
was like such a good time.
Yeah.
Those 11 years were so
100%.
nice.
Yeah.
But um
But go
oh,
ahead,
and the
dude.
cherry on top in the Brady Mahomes thing. You said that you didn't think Brady was the GOAT until he went to Tampa and he beat
Yeah,
Patrick Mahomes
Mahomes.
in the Super Bowl.
Mhm.
So that's the thing I think I'll die on the hill on is everyone's argument is, well, if we're just going by rings, Bill Russell's the best basketball player of all time. And I'm like, no, because he never played Jordan.
Mm.
Mahomes actually played Brady and he lost. And he lost to a Brady that was 40 years old.
Yeah,
Imagine a Brady at 27 years old going up against a Mahomes.
that's true.
Like, you caught Brady at the tail end and he still beat you.
Mhm. And you had Tyreek Hill.
That was the nail in the coffin for Brady.
Yeah.
That was I am the greatest of all time and no one can. I mean, there maybe someday someone will come along and will consider him better than Brady. I don't think it's Mahomes.
Yeah.
He's very close. I mean, he's close. He's in the top 5 for sure, I think already. He's had, I think the best way to explain it is Mahomes has had the best start to a career in the
Mhm.
NFL. We don't really know where it's going to go.
Mhm.
Like you said, like the whole that was a thing with Brady and Belichick, like who gets the credit. Right now, everyone seems to be giving Mahomes the credit. I think once Andy Reid retires, that narrative is going to flip.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be the opposite of what happened with Brady and Belichick.
Mhm. I agree. Yeah. And I mean, and just for the record, we're talking about Brady being the GOAT in football because in the commentating world, he's below average. And he's going to be
Yeah,
commentating the Super Bowl.
yeah, he's getting better, but it's hard. I feel like it's a tough position because like he's considered the greatest of all time in the
Mhm.
NFL. So you go from that to like broadcasting, and you go through the schooling for it, but like the guy, his partner, I can't remember his name, Ken O'Rourke. I don't remember what his name is. Kevin
Yeah.
O'Rourke, I think is his name. That guy, O'Rourke, if that's even his name, I'm not even sure. Uh, that guy's probably gone through so many journalism jobs and like decades of schooling for journalism. So like it's so hard. Like even some of the other guys, Joe Buck, even though a lot of people can't stand Joe Buck, Joe Buck has been calling baseball games since the 90s. Like he's been doing this forever. Like so it's kind of hard. It's tough for Brady to be in that position. And like you don't I don't really know what you want him to like talk about for him to be considered good. Like, do you want him to talk about his past during the games?
No, I want him to show some personality. I mean, I
Yeah.
feel like that is really Brady's flaw just as a person. I feel like
Yeah.
even when he was a player, he just doesn't show any type of personality. You
Well,
know
they
what I
said
mean?
that he does they say that he does behind closed doors. Like he's a savage. Like he
Oh.
talks badly about people.
But that's not. But I mean, like, I don't know. When I like when I want what I want with a commentator was somebody to like honestly like John Gruden, not John Gruden. I'm sorry. Well, John Gruden was a decent
Gruden was
commentator.
good. Yeah, he was good.
Madden, like that personality that comes out that like everybody loves and everybody like can connect with. Like Tom Brady just doesn't have that. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not even like something that he can learn or anything like it's not anything he's doing wrong. It's just like his personality is just like he reminds me of a robot, honestly.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. I mean, honestly, I feel like Bill Belichick has more of a personality in the media than Tom Brady does.
Yeah. I think Belichick could be a weird commentator
I'm not
of a
saying he,
game, but
but I'm just strictly talking about personality. Like
yeah.
on the Pat McAfee show, you know what I mean? Like even just all of the Madden thing, like
Well, I
I
feel like
mean Manning.
Belichick's so interesting because he never showed anything. So like now that he's finally cracking it open a little bit, that's
Hmm.
like so interesting. With Brady, like he's always been this super clean Superman kind of guy.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. That's what I want. And his partner is Kevin Burkhardt.
Work hard, okay. I think I
Yeah,
was naming the quarterback from Indiana, actually. but um, it's
but
just hard. Like most players, though, like there hasn't been a ton of players that were like, "Oh, what a great commentator."
oh, Kevin Greg Olson. I thought Greg Olson was a much better commentator, even if he didn't know like ball that much. Um, I mean, uh, I like Tony Romo. My mom hates Tony
Yeah,
Romo.
he's
Like
he's
Chris
okay.
Collinsworth was a like
Collinsworth,
decent.
I like.
I just think
I
he's getting annoying now.
Yeah, with the Mahomes glaze for sure. But I feel like the best uh, player that's been in the media, and I don't think he gets enough shine, is Nate Burleson.
Nate
And
Burleson.
he's the studio guy. He's always in the Fox studio with like Terry Bradshaw and
Oh, really? The one that's a co-host of whatever that one TV show now?
yeah, he also does like the Today Show and
Yeah. Hmm.
I don't think it's the Today Show, but he does a lot of other things. I feel like he's pretty good at what he does. He's pretty prepared and like comes with the notes and is actually like a personality.
Yeah. I like him. I mean, there's a lot. Like I like Ryan Clark. I think Clark is my favorite, one of my favorite media players. Um, I also like Terry Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw will always be one of my favorites because he's just so funny.
He's
Um, he's so
some,
funny.
sometimes he's lost doing his job,
So
but
lost. So funny.
there's a time
Um,
where he was on the on the show and he was like, "Oh, is my mic not on?" And they're like, "No, it's on, Terry." And he's like, "You sure?"
Michael Strahan is another good one. I mean, there's just
Oh
so
yeah,
many.
he's really good. Strahan's really good.
But I think like that's one thing that Tom should have done. I don't think he should have gone into commentating.
No, he should have done like the color uh, commentary in the booth or like
Hmm.
in the studio with the guys.
Yeah, so he can start
Like what
talking about that type of
like
stuff.
what Gronk's doing. Maybe that's what they should do. Have Gronk and him switch places.
Oh my god, yes, that would be amazing. That would be so
Gronk would just be like cracking beers in the middle of the game.
funny.
They're like, you can't do that.
I don't know, man. I something. It's just like I don't know. And then he's commentating the worst Super Bowl of all time. So it's like it just fits. It just fits. It
Yeah.
fits.
I like hearing him talk about like the quarterback play,
Yeah, 100%.
but other than that, yeah, he's pretty stale.
Like the information that he's giving out is quality information. I That's one thing I really like. Or like the pre-snap, oh, this is what the quarterback is probably going to be looking at. Oh, look at this linebacker blitzing, like that sort of thing. Like that's a really cool aspect that he provides. But it's like more the after the fact, and even when he's talking, like he doesn't know where to look. Like I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I've noticed that and he's still early. He's getting better at it.
I guess.
He's not so good at like the pregame stuff where they're like trying to talk about the game before the game happens.
Yeah.
He's not very good at that.
No,
I've
not at all.
noticed,
Yeah.
but he'll get better. Hopefully, they're paying him a lot of money,
Yeah.
so
He better get better.
I'm sure they will have some conversations with him if he doesn't get better. Apparently, they've had conversations with Romo. Like I guess 2 years ago, they I I think he was CBS. I'm not sure if he's still CBS. I think
Yeah.
he is CBS.
Mhm.
I think CBS had to talk with him because they were saying like he wasn't prepared enough for games and stuff like that.
Wow.
I mean, I like when he tries to predict the play and stuff like that. That's cool.
Yeah.
I hate I don't know, Jim. Oh, I hate that. I'm like he does it like 40 times a game, and I'm like, can we stop that?
Bro, he was trying to. Bro, it was so funny. He asked Gene Steratore a question this past game. Like this past game. This is how recent it was. I think he commentated the AFC Championship, I believe, right? And
Mhm.
then Tom Brady did the NFC. Do you remember?
I believe so.
Okay, so let's just say it was. So then he was like, Gene, Gene, and then Gene's like literally answering the question that he gave, and he was like, oh yeah, and then started explaining the rule, and I was like, bro, you literally asked Gene Steratore about the rule. Gene's answering it. You cut him off, and you're answering it for him. Like, what are you doing? Oh my god, that was so funny.
Yeah, it's a crazy world, that commentating world.
Yeah, I could never do that. That's one thing I could never do. I mean, you would be really good at it. I could
I would
not.
love it.
I would be like, huh?
I would love it.
Yeah.
That's like my dream job for sure.
Mhm.
But I feel like we need more. What's that guy's name? He's the best. What's his name? He does college games now. Oh, I can't remember his
Oh
name.
no, I even like Al Michaels. I love.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of hate now too.
Really?
Yeah, everyone says he's like too boring. It
Oh
does seem like since he's moved to Amazon, like he's just not as like hyped as he used to be.
yeah, I can see that. Because he's getting crappy ass games. What the fuck are you supposed to get hyped for?
What's this guy's name? I gotta think of it now because he's like my favorite.
I like the dude from Game Day. What's his name? Oh my god, he's on like the Pat McAfee show every other week.
Oh, Kirk Herbstreit.
Kirk Herbstreit. Yeah,
Yeah, he's really good. I like what he does.
he's probably my favorite commentator as of right now.
He's pretty good. He does a really good job. Gus Johnson.
Gus Johnson.
He's my favorite. Just look up YouTube videos of his commentating because he like screams the whole time.
Oh really?
Yeah, he's like, he's going deep. He- he's like, ah. He's like the
he
best.
looks he looks like that type of dude too.
He's the best, dude. I love his commentating. He's perfect for college football too. He's like, he's got him wide open. It's the
Oh
best.
yeah.
he's the he's the
Yeah, I
best,
know
dude.
exactly what you're talking about. That's funny.
but enough about the commentating. Let's talk about Art Rooney the second. He has come out this week with some uh, topics about the Steelers, some interesting topics. He went kind of towards the quarterback position, said you're most likely going to have to sign one of these guys, and we all kind of know if you sign one, the other one's probably going to leave. And he backed up Tomlin. He said Tomlin's going to pick the right guy. So it's either going to be Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, and whoever he picks, I'm okay with that. And then he also talked about George Pickens, which I thought was interesting. He said George Pickens, he's a very talented player. He has room to grow. Uh, we'd like to see him grow, and hopefully he realizes the potential he has. But there's definitely room for growth.
Nice.
What, what are your reactions as a Steeler fan to these comments?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like those are like media comments. It's more like the politically correct type of comments. I mean, he's absolutely right. They need to pick one quarterback and ship the other one out. Now, which quarterback that it's going to be is it going to be the main question, and I feel like this quarterback that Tomlin chooses, if he chooses the wrong quarterback, fans are gonna want his head even more.
Oh yeah,
So, and fans want one quarterback and one quarterback only out of the two, and that's Justin Fields. So if he goes with Russ, fans are going to be pissed, including me. Now I'm not gonna say fire him, but like, come on, Tomlin. Why are we? Why do we want Russ? What? No, no. Please, 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 no. And as of George Pickens, I mean, he could have said some very bad things about George Pickens. So I'm glad that it's just like he has room to grow and all that type of bullshit. So yeah, I mean I think George Pickens is one step out the door as well. To be honest, if he has another season like he had this past season with more of the off the field stuff, not just on the field stuff, like just the whole meme type of thing, like that's not the Steeler way. And we need Steelers playing for the Steelers, not some random people that like just like want to antagonize everybody, getting in fights. It's just not. It's just not the culture that out of the so many years, so many players have built, and then you're gonna have one dude that's gonna try to step in and destroy it. I don't know. So
yeah, um, yeah. Like you said, that quarterback decision I think is going to have ripples in the fan base and around the organization. If you go with Russell Wilson, I kind of fear it for Tomlin because this is like the narrative that is built around Tomlin. Like he's
mhm.
stuck in his old ways. He's a very defensive, old school type of coach. And I feel like a Russell Wilson signing is very old school.
And just the
So
way
if
that
you,
Russ acts, it's a complete like like Tomlin playing a coach. I mean, playing honestly, and that's
yeah,
what fears me. And I'm just like, even like during the hard knocks, Russ was saying a lot of the Tomlin phrases and stuff like that, and I'm like,
such a cornball, that guy.
yeah. So I don't know, but it's
But
like, go ahead, I'll let you finish, and then I'll.
yeah, to me, I think you go to Fields because, like you said, I think there's a big percent of fans that want to see Fields play. And if Fields doesn't do well, I mean, you're most likely the worst case scenario, you're most likely going 10-7 with Justin Fields. That's the worst case scenario. Maybe you lose one or two more games, but that's really not what's happened historically with the Steelers, no matter if it's Duck Hodges or Mason Rudolph or Justin Fields. Like everyone gives you the same record from what we've seen. So why not make the change to Justin Fields? Go with the younger option. And I think if you do that, I think you have to surround him with weapons.
Yeah, no, 100%. And there's two things with this whole conversation. Is number one thing that I you said that I'm gonna point out is more the younger option. How many times are we gonna go through this quarterback carousel that the Steelers have been since Ben? Like, what are we doing? Wouldn't you rather have Fields sign him for a 3-year contract, see how he does in a system that actually believes in him, actually puts him as QB1, builds around him, boosts up his confidence. Then let's see how good Justin Fields is. Number two, Arthur Smith, if he's still going to be our offensive coordinator, then he was the one that wanted Fields.
Yeah.
So why not go with a quarterback that your offensive player, since the head coach is a defensive player, or a defensive minded player, I should say. Go with the person who's gonna interact with the offensive coordinator a lot more. He wanted
Yeah.
Fields. I mean, honestly, I feel like Fields is the better option. And like he doesn't turn the ball over, which that's the number one thing that I've been preaching that our quarterbacks do. Do not turn the ball over. Do not turn the ball over. It's going to be if it's an 18-12 win, I'll take it. It's a win. But in order to do that, you cannot turn the ball over. I mean, it's just like I don't know. It scares me. It scares me a lot. But and honestly, if he does pick Justin Fields and he doesn't work out, I don't think the fans are gonna hate him. Be like, oh, we should have
No.
picked Rust. We should have picked Rust. So it's like a win-win situation. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like it's just a no-brainer, and the fact that we're taking this long kind of scares me.
Yeah.
Unless Justin Fields is like kind of shopping around and seeing what other teams that he's gonna go for, but I don't know.
I'm. It's tough because both of them said they want to be in Pittsburgh next year.
Yeah,
It's just like how possible that is. Like if you're Justin Fields, like if you want to be there, will you take being a backup to Russell Wilson again? I don't think so.
yeah, no, I wouldn't want him to be a backup either. Like, I don't know. I mean, you learn so much. And honestly, if we do pick Fields, it would be like the perfect situation because like you played a little bit last year, right? So you saw the ropes, and then you sat behind him, and so behind like you saw how Russ played, and so you can see the different dynamics and the progression and all of this other type of stuff that Russ either failed or succeeded at. So now you can have like a revamped type of thing with Justin Fields.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a big even when he was within Chicago, when they were like talking about letting go of him, I was like, they are tripping. Like, why are they getting rid of Justin Fields? I think he's a
He's ne-
great player.
he's never gotten a fair shake.
That's my point. Give him a
Yeah.
fair shake and see how good he was going to be.
Just
I
give
mean,
him one full season in a functioning organization and see what happens.
exactly. I mean, even last year, like the year before, like when he last year in Chicago, he had like 4 or 5 games where he looked really good. He looked really good. And so, and that was just 4 or 5 games. So,
Behind a terrible O line and like no weapons.
exactly.
Yeah.
So,
I don't really get the hesitation. I don't understand it. Like to me, it's a no brainer. Don't re-sign Russell Wilson. Re-sign Justin Fields. You probably don't have to pay Fields that much.
yeah.
Give him a, give him a 3 or 4 year deal. Surround him with talent. Basically, treat him as a rookie
Hmm.
on a rookie contract, and put a bunch of weapons around him and see what happens to the offense. Your defense is good. You don't need to make any changes on the defense for the most part. You might need to go get a corner, but other than that, like you're probably fine.
Yeah.
You're better than most defenses in the NFL with what you have right now.
exactly. I would say we're top five defense in the
Yeah,
NFL right now.
yeah. At
But
the most, you're a top 10 defense at the
mhm.
most.
So I bet you this is what's going to happen, or this is what's happening behind the scenes, because I can just see it now because the NFL is a business. They don't want to just release Russ and then like try to, they're probably just trying to get Justin as the cheapest option as possible. So if we say, if we have Russ hanging right here, but we're like, we really want to go with you, but we'll pay you 20, and Justin wants 25 or whatever the numbers are, or like, but we still can re-sign Russ because Russ also wants to come here. Like, kind of using that as leverage to kind of bring the price down a little bit more. Um, that I can see happening, and that's probably what's happening behind the scenes and why they're not quick with it. But I think they need to just get the shit done, because what this will also prove, if they do go with Justin Fields, it will prove that this organization trusts in him and actually wants him to be the quarterback. Not like we kind of wanted Russ, but you're the cheaper option, so we're gonna go with you. Like, if you're like, no, we want you. Like, even Russ is here, but we still want you. That will show a lot more confidence with him, and I think that's what he's really, really lacking.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's crazy.
I feel like you know what you need to work on with Fields too. It's a lot more obvious. Like he struggles in the red zone and he struggles throwing the deep ball.
Hmm.
With Russ, like he's just a below average quarterback. like, and he's not getting any younger and he's not getting any better. So like,
Yeah,
it makes no sense to me if they go with Russ. That makes zero sense to me.
yeah, 100%. What's funny is I think that Russ's strengths are Justin Fields' weaknesses. So I think that's what,
Yeah,
like, the perfect. I think Russ, the two good things that Russ did while he was a Steeler was his red zone and his deep ball. Everything else, he was a below average quarterback. But then Justin, I feel like, is a above average quarterback, but struggles in those two sections, which makes him a below average quarterback. So if
yeah,
he mimicked Russ, or not mimicked, but learned from Russ what his strengths were and helped him grow as a quarterback, then Justin Fields is going to be a really good quarter, a Pro Bowler next year.
yeah.
So,
I mean, if Russell can make it,
oh man,
he would just need one more yard than Russ, and he'll get in.
yeah, seriously.
Um, late round risers. So everyone has their eyes on. I mean, maybe the Super Bowl, but a lot of people have their eyes on the Senior Bowl right now,
Mm,
and that is all the college players, like the best college players, going up against each other here soon in the Senior Bowl. And you have players practicing right now that you have the top guys in the draft all in the same place practicing against each other. And the people that are probably getting the quarterbacks, at least that are probably getting the most hype right now, are Will Howard and Jackson Dart.
what teams do they play for?
Will Howard was from Ohio State.
Yeah.
Pat McAfee, they kind of highlighted him
Mm,
the other day on the show. They said, he's a big quarterback. One of them said he reminds me of Roethlisberger. I was like, I don't see that.
wow.
Uh, and then Dart, who plays for Ole Miss,
Mm,
he was really like getting looked at last year. This year he didn't play as well, but was still pretty good. I'll read you their stats. So Will Howard, he had 4,010 yards at Ohio State, 35 touchdowns, 10 INTs. Dart had 4,279 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 6 INTs.
dang.
So pretty solid years from both of them.
Yeah.
And really they're because everyone has Ward and Shador as the top two guys. People are like really skeptical on Milrow, but some people are really high on him. So there's a lot of people think that someone's going to reach on Jalen Milrow. And then you have these guys. You have Will Howard, Dart, and Dylan Gabriel because it looks like he'll be entering the draft. Those guys are probably getting picked later in the rounds, probably third to sixth rounds. Um, but I would think Will Howard, Dart, Dylan Gabriel, they're probably not going to be there past the fourth round. I would think they'll all be picked by then.
Okay.
So my question to you is, who do you think is the better quarterback in the NFL here? Who would you rather have on your team?
I think when it comes to NFL, this is why I don't think that Shador is really gonna do well because it's a huge transition from college to NFL. And when you look at college teams, you look at like Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan before, uh, Notre Dame. All these high level teams. It's it's a drop off, but it's not that big of a drop off because you're seeing these players in the NFL, like as rookies and whatnot. But like Shador's, how many players did he play against when he played in the? I mean, how many NFL players has he played against? How many college players has he played against that are going to the NFL? Not that many.
Not a lot.
So then,
Yeah.
in my opinion, I think the Ohio State quarterback, what's his name?
Will
Uh,
Howard.
huh?
Will Howard.
Will Howard. Because number one, Ohio State has you know a reputation of having people go to the NFL, so they kind of know what an NFL team kind of looks like. And number two, he's playing against NFL like players. Are they like the NFL? No, obviously not, because these are grown ass men in the NFL. But like, at least it's the type of culture that is set, and uh, get the opponents or NFL like players. Who is a quarterback that doesn't watch film or something like that?
Jamarcus Russell.
No, it was recent. Like he said, I don't watch film on myself or something like that.
Oh, that was Carson Beck,
Carson Beck. That's true. He's not entering the
who's
draft.
now no Miami just offered him $4 million to play there, so he transferred.
Wow.
Yeah,
Damn. What is college football? That's crazy.
it's it's training in the NFL.
Yeah. There has to be a rule about this or something.
They got to
They
do
need to stop
something. I don't
this.
know what they're gonna do, but they got to do something.
Unless college is just
The
gonna be like the G League.
the freshman that Michigan just signed, by the time if he were to play 4 years at Michigan, which he's not going to, but I think they said if he were to play, he'd be making like over $25 million in total, which is crazy.
That is crazy. That's more than his rookie contract.
Yeah, exactly.
That's wild.
I don't know. Like, it makes me wonder. Like, if it is it gonna keep players like in the college, and like you'll see some of like the better college quarterbacks go up against each other in the championship. Because
Mm,
if that's the case, I like that. But I don't love like, especially for like the running back position. I don't love like these guys staying in college and then getting to the NFL, and like because you spent 5 years in college, you might be getting a 2 year NFL career and then you're done.
mhm.
And you were a stud in college. Like I don't love that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. I think so because it only makes sense, right? But I think it also has to do with the upcoming draft class. Like last year, if Shador went into it, he would have been probably what fourth, fifth round quarterback.
Yeah, probably fourth round, fifth round.
Yeah. So like, but this year he's gonna be first round. So I
Yeah,
think that also has something to do with it, which it always has. But like, I think the money is definitely gonna be there because now it's like, yeah, I'll stay in college, get another couple like 10 million or whatever. There has to be a cap. There, it can't just be unlimited. It's like,
they have to do something about it. I don't know
yeah,
what they're gonna do, but
or even just like teams just sign contracts. All right, you're gonna play with Michigan for 2 years, and make sure there's no like transfer
transferring.
clause
Yeah,
type of thing.
yeah.
Like just like an NFL, like this can be like a miniature NFL, but I don't know. It's just weird that it's like it's college. Like these guys are literally enrolled in a school and just
Not
transferring schools like that. That's insane. Like
they're
academically, that's
19 years
crazy.
old making 19 years old already making $2 million.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's insane. That is crazy.
It is wild. It's a different time, man. There's like 16,
Like
17 year olds that are making
and
millions. Like,
you've seen some of like the repercussions already. There was a receiver that was going to enter the draft this year from LSU, Lacey. He was considered like really good. He had some personality traits that people kind of questioned.
mm.
He was kind of highlighted at the beginning of the year, not in a bad way, because he pointed a gun at somebody like with his
Oh
hands.
yeah, that dude.
That was him,
Wow.
and he just got into like a so he was driving a nice sports car or whatever, going like 100 miles an hour recklessly, swerved in and out of a lane, made two cars crash. One of the cars had a Marine in it. He died. So Lacey's probably going to play overseas after he serves a jail sentence or something. And like
Wow.
you could probably point at that sports car and be like, was this happening to past uh, college players that weren't getting paid this much?
Yeah. Damn.
You know, I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, but there's obviously a lot of stuff going on because of this amount of
Yeah.
money going on.
It's crazy
Uh,
because before this, people were always like, "Yeah, we should play players. We should pay players. We should play players," and then now we're like seeing the repercussions of playing
well,
players.
I think there's nothing wrong with paying the college players, but I thought originally what they were going to do, and this was what was that way back in 20 like 17 when this started to become like a topic of conversation,
I think so.
maybe 2015. I don't remember. Um, I thought what they were going to do was do stipends. So like everyone makes like a similar amount of money, and there's a system of like what they make, and I'm talking like they're making a couple thousand a year
Mm,
compared to a couple million a year. The problem is like this model that they have, it's based off of image likeness and who gets the most jersey sold and all that stuff. And any team could say, wow, this player, like Michigan this year, this player's getting so much attention. He's the number one high school recruit. Why don't we get a bunch of funding from some of our donors and give him a massive contract? A contract that's never been seen in college before. He'll have to say yes. And that's not going to stop if you don't do something about this.
and then it becomes a bidding war.
Yeah,
See, I
that's
thought it was
exactly
just
what it is.
I thought it was gonna be a couple 100,000. Like I didn't think a couple thousand. I thought it was gonna be like a couple 100,000, where they're making like 100,000, and some player just got 200,000 or something. Like I thought it was gonna be like that. I didn't. There's no way that I thought they were gonna get paid as many as more, if not equal, or if not more than NFL players. Never in
Yeah.
my wildest dreams would I have believed that. Like it's insane. And then my question is instead of money, I've been thinking about this a lot. instead of money, can't they just give them like a percentage of their ticket sales? Do they or they don't?
I don't I don't really know how it works, to be honest with you. I know that they get money from sponsors, and I think they get money from like the jersey sales. I don't know about tickets though.
Or jersey sales. But like instead of saying, "All right, here's $2 million," you can say, "All right, well, here's 30% of what,
Right.
however many much of your jersey sales, or how much ever of ticket sales, or something like that." Like I thought it would be more of like a percentage
Yeah.
than a actual, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's craziness.
Yeah,
But to get back to this question,
yeah.
you
Sorry.
said Will Howard. No, it's fine. Um, you said Will Howard. I think I'm gonna go with Dart from Ole Miss. And he's an interesting player. You watch his film, and he kind of makes a lot of those off-platform throws off his back foot. He's mobile. He is kind of a fearless quarterback. Throws the ball in really tight windows. But we don't know if that's going to work in the NFL. That's kind of what we saw with Spencer Rattler
Hmm.
last year, and everyone was saying like, "Oh, he's the steal of the draft," and then you see him play this year, and you're like, "That's the steal of the draft." So it's kind of it's kind of hard to predict. I've said on this show that I really like Dylan Gabriel, and he's
Yeah.
starting to get a lot of hype. So I think there's the guys outside of those first two quarterbacks, Quinn Ewers, Jalen Milrow, Dart, Howard, some people like McCord from Syracuse. I don't think he's very good. Some people like Brady Cook from Mizzou. I think that guy Brady Cook just sounds like a third string in my mind.
I was gonna say.
But there's gonna be one or two of these quarterbacks that step out of the shadows and is a factor in the NFL that I do believe. And I don't know who it is. I don't know if it's Quinn Ewers. I like Quinn Ewers' arm talent, but I don't love the mental part of the game. He made a lot of mistakes in a lot of big moments. Jalen Milrow, like I see the athleticism, and he's going to get those comparisons to Justin Fields, Lamar Jackson, but like it scares me that he played receiver in college and then switched to quarterback. That scares me a lot. So I don't know. I don't know who's going to work. Even those top two quarterbacks, like maybe there isn't a quarterback in this draft.
Yeah.
I don't know though. I feel like there's a couple. I feel like there's probably three.
Oh,
But um, let's do our last segment. We have the perfect off season. So originally we were thinking about this topic, and I was thinking about just pulling random teams, but we'll only probably do a couple of teams if we did that. So I thought let's do the whole division. And we're going to focus on the NFC South today. So, Nimmer, you have the Falcons and the Buccaneers. I want you to give me some steps for them to have a perfect offseason and for them to compete better next year.
all right. So I will go with the Bucks first because I feel like the Bucks uh don't. I mean, they had a great season this past season. Uh, I mean, maybe it's not as what they wanted. They wanted to go to the Super Bowl, blah 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 blah. But I thought they were they had a really good season. I was actually wrong because I was very adamant about the Falcons winning the division, but the Bucks ended up winning the division. Anyway, this offseason is going to be very interesting for them because they have 22 unrestricted free agents, and that includes Godwin, Levante David, and Ben uh, Brendanson, which is the guard. So Godwin's obviously the receiver. David is the linebacker, and then Ben is the guard. So those I feel like those are three key free agents that they need to resign. 100%. Resign them, make a deal with them, whatever. Um, and then their OC went to Jacksonville, so they need to get a good OC. Now, what do you think about Todd Munkin from Georgia.
The Todd Munkin?
Yeah,
Is that the who
I
is
think
that?
he's the OC for Georgia. I think, if
Oh,
I'm not mistaken.
okay. Um, they have a nice offense, Georgia.
Um. Oh, never mind. But I was thinking him or Josh Gizzard, which is the Bucks pass game coordinator. I feel like since they had a pretty good offense, why not just go internal and just promote Josh in order to kind of keep that flow going. You know, he kind of saw how the offense did and whatnot. But the reason I said Todd is because he actually used to be the Bucks coordinator in 18, and then he went to
Hmm.
Georgia, and then it would be kind of a nice reunion. But I think the biggest group position group that the Bucks need to work on is the defense, and the defense always starts with the linebackers. So two linebackers I would like to see them see them sign are Zach Bond from
Hmm.
the Saints and Nick Bolton from KC. I feel like one of those two linebackers, preferably Nick Bolton, especially if he wins the Super Bowl, that would be a nice veteran to come and kind of revamp that defense. Uh, so those are the three key things I would like to see the Bucks do. On to the Falcons. Now the Falcons, they need to do something with Kirk. I don't know what it is, but I don't know if you
I don't.
trade
I don't
him.
think they know what it is either.
Yeah, I don't I like I don't know, but uh I don't know. I figure something out with Kirk. Like I don't know if you can trade him and then pay 3/4 of the money, and then another team pays a fourth of the money, or I don't know what they need to do, but or even honestly, they could just keep him until what's his name's contract is up, be like a mentor and stuff like that. But I don't even know if he'll want to do that. But anyway, um, so figure out something with Kirk. Number two, the Falcons need to enhance their pass rush. And I think the way that they do this is through the draft. I think they draft James Pierce Jr. from Tennessee.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, I think that would be a great way to revamp that D line and add pressure to it. And then they just need to enhance the O line, whether it be the draft or the free agency or that sort of thing. But they definitely need a better O line, especially since they went all in and with Penix. And last but not least, they need to trade Kyle Pitts.
Hmm.
They needed to ship him out. Ship him out,
See what you get.
see what
See
you
what you
get.
can get for him.
Exactly. But I mean honestly, I would take a uh like a 3 and a 6. I feel like that would be a
Yeah.
pretty fair trade. And then
Package Kirk and Kyle Pitts.
exactly, now you're talking. Uh I wonder if you can do that.
They
No.
probably could. I mean, you'd probably have to get a player in return. The
Yeah.
contract, they're going to be taking on a lot of money to do that.
Yeah,
The other team.
that's what I'm saying. So like the Kirk contract would be going to the new team, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Or depending on how they agree upon it.
Yeah, true. So those are the two. Those are the 4 5 things for the Falcons. It's going to be an interesting offseason for them. It's going to make or break their
Yeah.
year.
And Kirk has a no trade clause in his contract.
Oh shit.
So he would have to waive that,
Yeah. Which
which
I would,
so,
wouldn't you? I mean, it'd be like you don't waive it, you're just gonna be sitting second string.
yeah.
He wants to play.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's probably with like the way the draft's going to roll out this year, there's probably going to be a couple teams desperate for a quarterback. So there might be someone out there that takes on Kirk's contract.
The Raiders calling it.
That'd be
something they
crazy.
would be dumb enough to do.
That would be crazy. So I feel like you had the funner teams, the Bucks
Yeah.
and the Falcons. I had the Panthers and the Saints,
Phew.
and I'll tell you right up front, it's gonna be really hard to have a perfect offseason and to compete next year for either of these teams. Let's start with the Panthers. So they had a passing yards offensively ranked 30th. They were 18th in rushing, which actually was kind of surprising because I know Chuba had a pretty good year, or Chuba,
Yeah.
and 18 to me seems pretty low, but that's where they were, pretty much middle of the packed rushing. On defense, they were really bad. So they were total defense, they were ranked last. Against the pass, they were ranked 23rd. Against the rush, they were last. And in red zone defense, they were 29th. So lots and lots to do. This is what I think you do. Um, I think you sign back Andy Dalton. Not the most glamorous move, but he's the best backup, one of the best backup quarterbacks in the league. So if Bryce Young isn't there, you have Andy Dalton to fall back on. I think you go with Bryce Young next year, have him play the whole season. He looked like he was turning it around at the end of the season. Give him a full season. You have to. I feel like you have to. And for him to be successful, you're going to have to build that O line because that was a tragic problem for the Panthers last year. I saw a lot of mock drafts saying that they'll probably go with an edge rusher with their pick in the draft, which I think is like 8 or 9. I can't remember. I think what you should do, what you should prioritize is the offensive line. Go get Kelvin Banks Jr. from Texas, the left tackle. He is a staple in this draft. Over 1,800 snaps at left tackle for Texas in 2 years. So he is a bona fide left tackle. That is a kind of guy you want to bring in, a kind of rookie you want to bring in. He's really big. He's a bigger lineman and has shown that he can compete against guys on teams like Georgia and LSU and Bama. And I mean, he's played a lot of really good edge rushers during his time at Texas. So I think draft Kelvin Banks Jr. If he's not there, go with Will Campbell from LSU, and he's another really good lineman in this draft. I would think Kelvin Banks Jr. will still be there though. Um, Also, try to draft an edge rusher later. I know that's what everyone had for the first round, but I think you could probably get away with getting a quality edge rusher later in the second round um, or the third round. And really, I look at the rushing defense, 32nd in the league, last. So to me, you need an inside linebacker. That's another position you need to prioritize. You really haven't had a good inside linebacker since Luke Kuechly and Thomas. What's Thomas Jr.? I can't remember his name. Um, so I think in that second round, I don't know where they pick in the second round. I didn't look that far, but if Jahad Campbell from Alabama is there, I think you pick him in the second round. So in your first round, you're getting a lineman from Texas, and in the second round, you're getting a linebacker from Alabama. Sounds like a pretty good start to your draft. And I would say go uh, get a edge rusher that's in the free agency, whether that's Hassan Reddick or Josh Sweat or Khalil Mack. Go get those guys. I would prioritize Hassan Reddick. I still think he can give you some quality time. I think you kind of lost a little bit with that trade to the Giants, giving up Brian Burns, because really it hasn't had that much of an impact on your team's success since he's gone. Your defense has only gotten worse. So I would try to go get, try to make up for that mistake and go get Hassan Reddick. For the Saints, biggest question mark. They don't have a head coach right now. They are the last team in the league with a vacancy in the head coach. It's been a story that I've been watching because I thought Mike McCarthy was going to end up there. I saw a report that Mike McCarthy interviewed with them, and I guess the interview didn't go very well. He didn't like wow anybody in the room,
Mm,
which is weird because I think him and Mickey Loomis, who's the GM, um, I think they used to work together in Green Bay, which is what surprised me. But you need to get a quality head coach. I would still try to get McCarthy. I think he's the best one left. I know there are a lot of reports indicating that it's going to be Kellen Moore.
mm,
Uh, I don't know how much I trust in Kellen Moore as a head coach. I mean, really, as an offensive coordinator, he hasn't been super consistent. So he was the coordinator for Dallas a couple years ago with Pollard and Zeke in the backfield, and that was pretty much the highlight of the offense. And Dak had decent numbers and CD had decent numbers, but like it was kind of an up and down offense all year. And now he's with the Eagles this year, and really Jalen Hurts' numbers hasn't gone up. He hasn't been like a terrific quarterback this year. So I'm like, why would you hire Kellen Moore?
yeah.
It doesn't. There's not enough proof there for him to be that quality head coach. I would go with McCarthy. Their rankings defensively, they were 30th total defense, 27th versus the pass, 31st against the run. So again, really, really bad rankings for them. I think in that first round of the draft, you're going to need to. The problem that the Saints have is they're still in that cap hell. They were getting out of it, and then they signed Derek Carr to a huge contract, and then they dug themselves right back into that. Um, so really, you're going to have to focus on getting depth because I think you're going to be losing a lot of players. I think I saw they have like 22 free agents on the board coming off the team this year, and um, good chance not a lot of those guys are going to sign back. Um, so I would work on that defense. I'd either draft Jalen Walker, who's a linebacker. He won the Buck Kiss Award
Mm,
this year. He played at Georgia. Or I would sign Michael Williams, also from Georgia. He's an edge rusher. One of those guys from Georgia. I think that's good. I would sign Chase Young back because I think you need the depth. He didn't show like a ton of promise this year, but I think you just need the depth. Um, he he was effective at times. It wasn't an amazing year, but you need the depth. You also need depth at offensive line. I think you can probably address that in the draft. Some guys I'm looking at is Connor Colby and Tyler Cooper. Connor Colby played at Iowa, and Tyler Cooper played at Minnesota. And I don't watch a ton of college linemen play, but I know those two schools are factories for linemen, and you are in need of a guard. So I would look at those two guys and try to find a free agent linebacker. You mentioned Zach Bond for you mentioned that for the Bucks, right?
yeah. Yeah.
So I would that was another guy I think you look at for the Saints. Bring him back. I know he just went to the Eagles and probably doesn't want to come back to the Saints.
Yeah.
Uh, so if Zach Bond's not there, maybe Robert Spillane from the Raiders. He's a free agent. He's a tackle machine. He might be a good guy. But yeah, that's how I think you compete a little better. And I'm sure no GM's going to watch that. But hey, maybe maybe they sign
Yeah.
or draft one of these guys and we look like geniuses.
Exactly. Maybe. You never know. They might be the one view there watching.
Got Mickey Loomis in the chat.
Yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, it's so if is the Saints the only ones without a head coach right now?
Yeah, they're the
Mm,
last one.
damn.
I mean, I don't really consider the Cowboys head coach a head coach, but Uh,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
the Saints are the last one, the last vacancy, and they're saying it's going to be Kellen Moore. That's kind of like it seems like the deal's already done, really.
Wow. So you're saying that the Arthur Smith is coming back? Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
See, like,
So
what
that
if the
should be.
Bucks get McCarthy? You think he'll go to a coordinator position?
I don't know. His offense isn't like the best.
Mm,
His offensive scheme, I feel like it's outdated. That's why I think he's a better head coach to have like a really good play caller. He's like stable. He's a stable head coach. He can keep you afloat.
yeah.
Even with the Cowboys this year like that, with the situation they had playing with Cooper Rush for a good amount of the season, they were still competing in a lot of games.
That's true.
So I think he's just a solid kind of stay afloat kind of coach, you know,
Yeah.
which isn't the best option,
No.
certainly. But I mean, would you rather have that or would you rather go to someone like who was I just say? Kellen
Colin Moore.
Kellen Moore. There you go. Kellen Moore from Philly, who, like I said, hasn't really shown a lot of promise, hasn't really shown consistency
Yeah.
from an offensive standpoint. Like I think his first year as a coordinator, people were looking at him and saying like, oh, there was some creative play calling, but like ever since then, like there hasn't been like if the Eagles were ranked first in all offensive positions this year rankings, maybe I consider that like they're they're one of the top five in rushing, but that's because you have Saquon Barkley. And like you look at the weapons they have, like that should be a team that's ranked first in the NFC in offense.
100%. Don't you think there should be a rule that you can't interview anybody? And honestly, it should happen to college after too. But the off season starts the day after the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
You can't talk to them. You can't interview with anybody. You can't do anything during the playoffs.
Yeah,
There should be a
yeah, it
rule
should,
with
it should
that.
it should definitely be like a week after the Super Bowl when the interviews open up.
Something. Because, like, now the Eagles, like, you know what I mean? They know, I mean, Kellen Moore knows, all right, this is going to be my last chance to go to the Super Bowl. Or, you know what I mean? Like, or, oh, are
Yeah,
you interviewing or you're preparing for the Super Bowl? And then that, like, messes up the culture in the locker room and stuff. Like, that kind of pisses me off.
yeah. I would say though, probably I don't know for sure. I would imagine most of the interviews today are done virtually.
But you still have to prep to be before the interview.
That's true. Yeah, but I feel like it's not like as big as it was when you know the Super Bowl coordinator was traveling to New Orleans to
Yeah,
interview in person before the Super Bowl.
that's true. That's true. But
You know,
still, I don't know. I mean, even it's like college players. Like somebody came out and said like we're literally preparing for a national championship game, and then I'm getting phone calls at, for offers having me go to another school, and I'm like,
yeah,
I'm literally watching film for the national championship game. And it's like it's one of those things where it's like, oh, well, just tell them after the game. It's like, well, you can't say after the game because they want to get their stuff situated now.
yeah,
And so it's like you're going to lose this opportunity to get a head coaching job if you don't take this interview because they want to head coach before the Super Bowl. I don't know.
yeah.
It should be, and then it makes the offseason a lot more fun.
Hmm.
I feel like
I
I don't
agree.
know.
Yeah, no, it takes away from the big games. Like I don't know how much Ben Johnson was like not focusing on the game plan for Washington,
Yeah.
but of course you're always going to have those people that say, "Well, you lost the game because your offensive coordinator was interviewing for the Bears that week."
Hmm. Yeah. So I mean, it's true because it's not even just like a typical job interview, right? Like you're gonna have to bring plays. What culture are you gonna bring? How are you gonna change the system? Like, and then you'll have to like. Somebody said that there's like literally a binder that they had for just how they would uh, change the team, or what would they provide. Like it's a whole binder. Like that doesn't just take like an hour. That's not something that you can just turn on your computer and just kind of bullshit the answers. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, for the Saints, like I feel like it's been such a weird time for them because like they haven't really been good for a while now
yeah,
like since like the second to last year of Drew Brees.
yeah. I mean, even I don't think they've been good since the Super Bowl that they won.
Yeah, like it's been a while since they've been good, and you had that like uh first 4 games of this year where everyone was like, "Oh, the Saints, they're the
Yeah,
surprise team," and then it just all went to shit very quickly.
that's true.
But it's hard to like point the finger at anybody. It's it's a tough situation. That cap hell that they're in is it's like almost insurmountable. Like I don't know how you get over that.
Who was the first
They're
one that they had Capo with
um
before Carr?
they they had signed a bunch of guys at the same time, like Tyron Matthew and Demario Davis and
Uh,
um, Cameron Jordan and a bunch of guys. They just signed a whole bunch of guys at the same time, and then weren't. And that honestly, that was when Sean Payton was there. Some of it probably has to do with Sean Payton, but yeah, signing Carr to the contract they did was not smart.
yeah, not at all.
That was such a weird era because like it seemed like that was like the same time Russ went to the Broncos and Kirk going to the Falcons the next year. Like everyone was just swinging on quarterbacks, and like it didn't change anything. Mahomes is just about to win his fourth straight Super Bowl. So.
uh, I wonder
or
if they're
or
ever
the
gonna
argument
learn. You
or the
think they'll ever?
argument the other way.
Huh?
Jalen Hurts is about, or the argument the other way. Jalen Hurts about to be in his second Super Bowl in 4 years. So
And none of those quarterbacks succeeded.
yeah, not Kirk, not Derek Carr, not Russ, not
So
anybody.
then,
Deshaun
what?
Watson.
Yeah. So why are they still paying these guys such massive contracts? It's
I don't
like
know.
it's
I
so
mean,
blowing to me that I would just say no. Like, all right, I'd rather draft a quarterback than pay Russell Wilson $70 million. Like, it's
it's
crazy
hard to it's hard to strike gold with a quarterback like
in the draft or
the
just in general.
in general.
Oh yeah,
Like the Patriots got lucky with Brady. Absolutely lucky. 6th round pick. The
yeah,
Chiefs. Everyone, no one really knew what Mahomes was going to do.
no,
Josh Allen, like no one really knew what Josh Allen was going to do. There was a lot of Bills fans that were upset that the Bills drafted Josh
yeah.
Allen.
I mean, even Lamar got picked last.
Yeah,
Ben, I
it's
mean, it's all of
it's
it.
it's so hard to like pick a quarterback that's actually going to take you somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think that it's not really, in my opinion, it's not really the quarterback. It's more the scheme that you put the quarterback in.
Hmm.
In my like, I don't think that Patrick Mahomes, especially rookie year, like his rookie year was with Andy Reid. So
Hmm.
Andy Reid pretty much shaped his whole entire scheme to fit Patrick Mahomes' strengths. Same with Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. Like all of these great quarterbacks, the coach shaped their scheme to fit the strengths of their quarterback, and not a lot of people do that. And that's why I don't think that quarterbacks succeed that well. And I think that's why a lot of the quarterbacks that move to other teams are like, all right, this is the scheme that we're in.
Hmm.
Learn it, blah blah blah. But then on the other side, like Sam Darnold, Kevin O'Connell was like, all right, what are your strengths? Your strengths are this. Okay, well, we're gonna change it into this, and ended up doing that really well. Like, so I don't
It's tough. I mean, it did work in some cases, like Peyton going to the Broncos. That worked,
know. Yeah,
except for the last year. I mean, they won the Super Bowl, but his stats were not very
yeah,
good. He could barely throw the ball past 30 yards. Uh, Stafford got traded to the Rams. That worked.
hmm
Brady went to the Bucks. That worked. But you know, there's more people now that we see it like after the fact that it didn't work. Aaron
yeah,
Rodgers, that's another guy. A
hmm
team signed him to a massive contract and they won 4 games this year. So 5 games.
yeah.
And the year before that, he got hurt and he lost. He won more games without him, but
Jeez.
it's craziness.
Yeah, it's wild, but that's why we love it.
Well, we've been on this podcast for a while. I
Yeah,
didn't. I only put a couple of topics into the rundown, thinking it wasn't gonna run that long, but this one
yeah. We kind of steered off to a
we
couple
covered quite
different.
a bit.
Yeah.
Went all over the place,
Uh,
from the Pro Bowl to the commentating world to the goat. To
yeah.
we went all, we went everywhere.
Welcome to my ADHD brain, man. I was thinking about this while I was walking. I'm just like 50 different subjects in a 30-minute walk.
it's it's hard because Sammy said we're gonna work out tomorrow, and I was like, if I can wake up.
Oh yeah. What time is it there? Oh, it's 10.
Yeah,
Yeah.
10's not too bad.
No. What time are you guys gonna go?
We do it. We've been doing it at home.
Oh,
We do
nice.
like the Apple workouts. We
Oh,
have a couple of sets of dumbbells, and I was doing LA Fitness, but like Pittsburgh is like this city is so strange because like you would think like living in Pittsburgh, like I have everything so close to me, but like the nearest LA Fitness is 20 minutes away. So like I'm booking it if I go to the LA Fitness because times and I was like almost late to work because
oh
I'm
my
also trying to make
god.
the bus. Like I
Oh,
can't just drive on my own time, you know?
yeah.
So like it just ended up being like too much and I wasn't going, so I just canceled the membership. And then now I just do it at home and it works. I mean, it's not like the best, but it works. I mean, if I were to do this and like really pay attention to what I ate, like I'd probably lose a bunch of weight.
Yeah. I
But
think they said that like eating is like 90% of weight loss. So,
yeah.
but as long as you're active, I feel like that's the main thing. I was talking.
And
I was
I'm
talking.
really not trying to lose a bunch of weight.
Yeah. I
Like
mean,
I just, I'm not trying to be 170 pounds right now. Like
yeah.
yeah, I just
No.
that just doesn't sound enjoyable. So
Yeah. Well, I was telling Hook, I was like, the biggest thing, the hardest thing is just getting up and doing it. You know what I mean? Like, I
yeah,
feel like that's the hardest thing.
just
Even
getting
just being
going,
active, not even just losing weight, just like, just staying fit type of
just
thing.
moving, just
Yeah.
doing stuff.
I feel like
Yeah,
that's the difference between like feeling old and being old.
yeah, definitely.
So,
I
I
always
could,
start like with if I'm having trouble, I always start really slow. Like I'll do stretches first for a couple of days and then I'll do like a walk the next day and then the next day I'll do like a jog and then I'm doing the run and then I'm doing the lifting. If I'm ever like out of it, right now I'm out of it. But
yeah,
that's kind of how I ramp into it if I'm like really struggling with it.
that's good. That's a good little,
Cuz
like, getting you, whatever,
I think
in that routine.
a lot of people just try to jump right back into doing 5 sets of bench press and you're like the next day you're like dead and it's like I don't want to
Yep.
go back and do that again, you know?
Yep, that was me this morning. I was just like, damn, been curled in so long. I haven't done. I did the lat pull downs because it was back and buys today. Oh my
Oh, you're
god,
gonna be so sore.
I'm gonna be so sore.
It's a good
Luckily,
feeling.
yeah.
It's a good feeling, but
Honestly, I love being sore. It means that I actually worked hard, but
yeah.
I don't know. I'm the type of person that just jumps into the weight room and just like you said, just benches 5 sets.
Yeah, I've learned that lesson over and over again because I've done that before. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you just think if you like just take a bunch of pre-workout and show up at the gym, like you'll be fine. But you like start to instantly regret it once you like can't get the bar up because you're like, man, I haven't been to the gym in a year. Like
Yeah.
I obviously can't lift as much as I used to.
I know. That's the thing. Like that's the hardest thing. And that's why like I tried going doing like a home gym. Like I got like the weights and all this other type of stuff, but then like I would just do like one
It's
or two sets and I'm like I just want to go
yeah,
lay on the couch. Like I have to go
yeah,
somewhere. But
it's not easy.
yeah, and I always feel so self conscious because I feel like bro in high school that was the strongest I ever was, which is very ironic. But like, yeah, in high school I was insanely strong. So like college I was kind of strong, but I wasn't as strong. But like I could still keep up. But then after college, when I would go to the gym, I would be like, why are these like why is 225 feel so heavy? Like it's crazy.
Well, you
It's
go from
awful.
doing it every day to like very sporadically, like
Exactly.
yeah, it's
Exactly.
hard.
So, but I think now, like, I'm gonna do more stamina things. Like, I did lat pull downs. I think I did like 3 sets of like 20. No, of 30. So, because I mean, I don't need to be big anymore. Like, I don't need to like bulk up and
No,
just be one of those like, oh, how are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to be like
yeah,
that. I'd rather just kind of like slim down, get rid of this gut, and be good.
just like just stay fit.
Exactly.
That's the goal. Like just look like you're not hanging over your belt line. Like
Yeah,
you know, that's the
definitely.
goal. As long as you can look down and see your toes, like you're doing all
Exactly.
right. You know.
Yeah. 100%. That's so
But
funny.
why don't we end the night before we go into a whole encyclopedia of fitness and nutrition?
Yeah,
Because
sounds
that's the
good.
way this podcast has kind of gone.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. We will be back next week. Hopefully, Darian's with us. Maybe not. We completely understand with that new baby. He's been sending us pictures and videos, and my goodness, it's the cutest baby I've ever seen. Besides yours, Jack, and besides yours, Kason. So,
And all three of yours, Ricky, and the other two, Casey, and
yeah,
all the kids in
everybody's
there.
having kids in our league. So,
Yeah.
really, it should just be the dad themed draft. That's what I was thinking. And we all bring like someone should just bring like cases of happy dads.
Mm,
Even though I've never tried that, I don't even know. I think that's a seltzer, but
yeah, I don't know. Well, what I was thinking, so I think I was talking to Hook about this. It's like imagine in like 20 years while we're doing this, if some person can't come, they just send their kid to
yeah,
draft, or it's like have a father child type of thing where it's like the dads drink with their children, and you know what I mean, like,
yeah.
and then
The kids could have their own fantasy league.
yeah, exactly, or even like the
That'd be
drinking
awesome.
partners can be you and your child instead
Yeah,
of like somebody, I don't know. That'd be kind of cool.
that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see in 20 years.
Yeah, depends if the wives I don't know if the wives are gonna send their children to the fantasy group. So in the
Yeah.
fantasy trip, it's gonna be crazy.
We can call Sam Pickett right now and see.
Yeah, we should. We
Yeah,
should.
yeah,
I'm
right.
sure.
But Congratulations to you guys on the baby. Once again, it's been an awesome thing to see. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good night.